Hi guys, welcome to Ride VIP, the Rideshare channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about my future plans in about a couple months, or it might take me slightly longer to achieve them, but I'm setting a goal at 2 months of working consistently, doing Uber and Lyft in order to get to a specific goal. I will talk to you guys a little bit about that goal that I'm trying to set for myself. And also the purpose of this video is not to brag, but to help you guys get motivated in order to take what you got, which is rideshare, and catapult yourself to the next level. For instance, to get higher wages by working for yourself. And you could actually do that. And I want to be living proof in order for me to achieve that. And I think you guys could do that as well. I'm not anybody that's special. I'm just gonna take something like this and turn it into something that's way better. And here's kind of like how I'm planning to go about it. So for the next 2 months, which is the rest of February, and I already have been working all January and all February, and I'm actually extending this to almost the end of March. It may even take this slightly beyond. But I believe that if I completely worked February and March, this will basically do several things for me. First of all, I will make a pretty good amount of money, because here's what I'm doing. I'm working more than 40 hours a week. So I'm either doubling the time or working slightly less, or working about 90 hours. So with that being said, if I work like 80 hours a week, that's like I have like 2 jobs, or that's like working for 4 months instead of 2 months, if that makes any sense. So I want you to look at things like this. Imagine you take this type of job, right, which is not a job, which is basically your own little business, and you work a whole year and you just do full time. And I'm not gaining anything by helping you work longer. This is like your choice. I'm just saying, like, just imagine, instead of working for a 40-hour week, you're doing like 80-hour weeks, right? Or slightly more. Yes, it's going to be very challenging. Yes, it's going to be very tiring, but you end up working very hard, put all that money into savings account, because I'm not going to be giving you guys any like financial advice when it comes to like investing your money somewhere else, because I think the best place where you could invest your money is in yourself, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm thinking, like, for safekeeping, just put that money into savings account. Now, if you're somebody that's good with reinvesting your money in that time, you know, that is on you. You do you, you know. So what I'm doing is I'm putting all my money into savings account. So by doing that, I'm not touching that money, and I'm setting a goal for me every week. I must put $1,500 away into that savings account. And this is after all my expenses. That means my bills get paid at home. That means everything else. Like, I gotta have $1,500 in there. And I'm selling myself this challenging type of task, because that's almost nearly impossible to do that, because even like when I look at my income, some of it was like $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 a week. So when you take fuel out of it and everything else, you know, it's very challenging to do that. But as I set that rate for me, that means if I'm looking at my weekly earnings and I'm not achieving that number, I'm gonna force myself to work longer hours. I'm telling myself to do that because of my goals and my challenges. And if Uber's not enough, I'm going to turn Lyft on, and I'm going to work additional time doing Lyft just so that I could get to that goal. Why am I doing $1,500 specifically? First of all, it's because it's hard. Nothing that's worth doing is easy. Sometimes it takes very big challenges to overcome, and this may not be a challenge for somebody, but for somebody that is in rideshare, getting $1,500 clean cash could be a challenge for many of you guys. Not for me, because I know I could overcome that. And even though I'm doing Uber X, which is showing you the fact that I'm not better than any one of y'all out there, all I'm doing is I'm just using my car, which is a BMW, not a reliable car, well, not known for its reliability. I think this BMW is highly reliable, but they're not known for their reliability. Also, it doesn't have the best fuel economy. On a good day, I'm doing about 23 miles per gallon. Now, I try to calculate things at 20 miles per gallon, but I gotta put like premium fuel in, and obviously I do all my own service, which is a premium service, obviously, would cost a lot more to get it done elsewhere. So that means there's nothing easy about me having my approach that should put me somewhere above you, especially if you're smarter than me and you're using a car that's more fuel efficient, stuff like that. You could probably achieve the goals that I'm talking about even easier. Maybe you could have more money remaining by working less hours, but that is just me. So I'm not here to say who's right, who's wrong. All I'm saying is, look, I'm going to be using the car that I have to achieve the plan that I'm setting myself to achieve, and I will get there no matter what, because that is the goal that I set for myself. Now, why am I doing $1,500? Well, because $1,500 a week, that's $6,000 a month. That is not bad. Like $6,000 a month. Like imagine 6,000. Let's just use calculator. I don't want to really get this thing wrong. I could do math in my head, but I'm not the best mathematician. So imagine you're doing this for a whole year. That's $72,000. And as a matter of fact, this is wrong. This is right, but look how wrong it is. Watch this. I want to show you something. First of all, a week is 7 days, right? So look, 365 days in a year divided by 7, which gives us exactly 52 weeks. If we divide that by let's see. Oh my gosh. How am I getting this thing screwed up already? 365 days divided by 7, and then divided by 12. Oh my gosh, what the heck is wrong with me? That's 52 weeks. But what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong? So divided by 4? Yeah, divided by 4. Okay, why are we dividing by 4? Because there's 4 weeks in a month technically, and which would make it less than 30 days. So we have total of 13 months. Okay, but what I really needed to do is not do all that. Is all I was trying to do is show you guys that there's literally 13 months in a year. And I'm really sorry that I just like keep messing up. I told you I'm not the best mathematician out there. So we'll just divide it by 7 this time, which shows 52 weeks. So imagine 52 weeks, right? Each week you put in $1,500 aside. That's $78,000. $78,000, which we had like 72,000 here, and that's 78. So that means you will slightly have more money than initially that you thought you're gonna have. So that means if you're gonna have some missed days, it's okay, it's no problem. You might not be exactly correct, but imagine you come very close to 72 or 78,000. Are you gonna be mad at yourself? I think not. So ultimately, if you put $1,500 aside, that's a lot. If you put that money in savings, that's very good. Now, if you're really good at investing money, which right now it's very hard to do technically because all the markets are in the red, so putting in a savings account is a good idea to actually save your money instead of like risking it and blowing it. But I'm not even going to get into all these other things because this video is not about investing your money, but investing in yourself. So by having anywhere from $70,000 to $78,000 at the end of the year will put you ahead of most everybody out there. That means now you could do a lot with this money. So here's some things that you could do with this money. You can take that money and buy tax lien certificates, which is properties that are pretty much somebody maybe has passed away or whatever, they are not paying their taxes. That property is being Well, the taxes are being owed on the property, and then the government comes in and they create what is called a tax lien certificate. And when they do that, the person has about a year to pay that money back to the government. And then if they don't pay it in a year, government ends up taking the money. But the cool thing is, when it comes to investing money, this is one of the ways that you could actually invest your money and pull it out like in about like a year or two. Either way, you're going to be winning, because at worst situation, somebody's gonna like say like, or maybe a family member, they're just gonna pay off the taxes on that property, but they're gonna pay it off at a very high interest rate. That means you're gonna make anywhere from 7% to more on your money. And I'm not gonna get into specifics. I'm just saying that you will make a very high interest rate, a lot better than a savings account. But all of these tax lien certificates are available for sale at publicly held auctions. And it's all over the country, and you don't have to like live in that state in order to actually buy those properties. You could just simply attend that auction if that auction is that it's on a certain day. But usually this auction only happens once a year per that state or county or whatever, and then you end up just buying whatever's out there and doing your due diligence and things like that, which we're not going to get into. But it's a way of you to either buy the property for pennies on the dollar, or make real high interest on your money. Now, this is something I'm planning to do in the future, and I'm just sort of like giving this gold gem away. There's others where that came from, and I'm just gonna stick with this one because we're running out of time. But what I'm doing right now is I'm having a very ambitious goal of, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I really wasn't planning to say it, but I'm planning to buy another commercial zone property. So for me to do that, I need to have a 20% down payment, because the commercial zone loan work a lot differently than a regular type of residential loans. And currently I do not owe any money to nobody, but since I'm self-employed, it is a lot harder to prove your income. Therefore, I'm taking the opportunity to show my steady income, which I have been getting. I could show for last year, which I made slightly over 100,000. I could show that, and the year before that I made 117,000. And I'm planning to do something similar this year. And by doing that, I actually want to have money down, like a 20% down. And when I put money down, I'll be able to buy that property that I'm trying to buy. It's a commercial zone property. The reason I'm buying that property is this. There's many reasons, but one of them is I'm gonna be it's zoned for a car dealership. Okay, so I already have a commercial zone property with a little garage, but I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great to have another one? The reason I want to have another one is because that is a separate address. That is like, well, that other one's a separate address too, but they're next door to each other, like next door to my personal home. And I think it's a lot better idea to keep those things separate, you know. But either way, my property would work. I'm just thinking like it would be best if I could keep business and personal separate and have my other commercial zone property as an overflow type of lot. But I did get my car dealer certificate, and I'm trying to get that property. As soon as I get that property, that's it. I'm set. I have all my ducks in a row. I got 33 cars. I already got my car dealer license. I have well, I just need the property, that's it. So that means I could, somebody just canceled. I made it all this way and they canceled on me. Okay, let's just select this because, okay, whatever. That's fine. That happens. Like, wow, like I'm literally pulling up on this person, they canceled. But I bet I'm gonna make a pretty good cancellation on it. And I wasn't really excited about going where I was gonna go. I'm gonna get paid like, look, $6.78 for cancel, which is not bad. And I'm in a pretty good area, and you can see I got a ride right away. But anyways, this gives me opportunity to talk a little bit more about some of the plans that I have going for me going forward, which is a car dealership, a car service department. This is why I want to buy my commercial zone property, which has a building on it The building is about 1,800 to 2,000 square feet, which does have an office. It does have a bathroom. It does have like a waiting area. This used to be a shop, like an actual shop. I don't know what they used to do, but it was an actual like automotive repair shop. So there was sort of like a waiting area there. Like it's located right next to a gas station with a restaurant. So that's the only business in that area that customers, like locals, they could go there and get anything done. So that means I will fill that gap, which will be nice. And it's literally like down the street from you, like not even, like I could walk there. Like that's how close it is. So I'm thinking like, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could just buy that? And normally I don't like to finance anything, but in this type of situation, here's what I'm seeing that's happening. So first of all, that property was for sale, which is already a good deal. It was for sale, but it did not sell. And now the reason I'm thinking that it did not sell, because the first time it got listed, it did not sell. The second time it got listed, it did not sell. Now it's off the market. Now I don't see anybody there, like nobody like really claimed it. It doesn't look like anything has changed. So my guess is it hasn't been sold. I do know the family of the people that actually own it, which is their grandparents or whatever, and they're getting old and they wanted to sell this and I guess use it for their retirement or whatever, but they're just not able to sell it. And that's a whole another reason. That means there's negotiating room, and also because the real estate agent's not going to be involved, there's a way for them to sell, to save by not paying the real estate fee. And I think there's room left for negotiations. Now, before I'm even going to approach those people, what I want to do first is put my time in, and then March, at the end of March, I'm going to go see. Well, I'm gonna go see like a commercial loan type of expert, and I'm going to talk to him about getting a loan on that property, and I'll tell them that I'm going to be putting 20% down because I know what the property is selling for. I already have some money together. I'm just collecting a little bit more than I need, because you always have to make sure you have a little bit more, you know, that never hurts. And I'm putting it all into savings. That way it's visible. This is why I'm not like investing it somewhere else. Like I want to be able to show to the bank, to the commercial loan bank, that I do have the funds. Take a look, they're in the bank, you know, and I want to get pre-qualified to get a loan. So by getting pre-qualified, I will know exactly how much money the bank is going to give me. And when I have that number, now I'm going to come in there with negotiating from strength, you know, and that's what I want to do. So I will already know what I'm going to get financed on. So that means my goal is to negotiate less than what the building is worth, but also I want to get it appraised so that I'm not going to be overpaying, because the building is quite dilapidated. It needs a lot of work, and that's just from the outside. I've never been on the inside, so I could only imagine it needs a lot more work. So I definitely would like to be able to at least see it. So I'm gonna try to ask one of my real estate agent friend to try to see if well, I mean, I really don't need him, I guess, at this point, because technically he's there's no real estate agent involved, but just for his expertise, just a second opinion, what is something like this might be worth. Maybe he knows something that I don't. You always want to consult somebody in the field, because he's a friend and he's going to try to tell me everything, what's going to be I guess in the best interest for me, because he might know something about it that I don't, that maybe potentially will cost me more money down the future, like down the line. And I want to make sure that I'm ready for that, and that we could use that as part of the negotiation strategy to negotiate that deal. And I think negotiation is, it's going to come down to negotiations. Now, I do believe that the person that's selling the property is a motivated seller because they really need it sold. but they just wanted to get it sold. They hired a real estate agent, whatever, and it just did not sell because they're just old. They just don't need it. Nobody's using it. It's been literally sitting there for 8 years. Nobody's been using it. So I know that it's like, it's not making anybody. It's just sitting there. And I think partly due to the reason of the location, because location is not the best. This is not a prime location where a business would like to be in, which is probably why they did not even sell it. The location itself, as far as safety goes, it's a good location. Because I live there and I know that area. So it's a very good location. It's in the county area, but it's not a prime location where people will necessarily go to get stuff done. But to me, it doesn't really matter, because ultimately most of the businesses now is done online. Like, you know, people discover you online, and if you're any good, people will drive to you from across the country. I know that because people have drove to me from across the whole country, as far as Washington. People have came to me from Florida, from like Pennsylvania, like all over the country, seriously. And they came to me for my expertise because I'm a Mercedes Sprinter diesel specialist. And I have a YouTube channel about it, and I show lots of videos. Now, in the videos, I'm down to earth all the time, and I explain things in a very easy to understand manner, as I am trying to do here, without all the fluff. And I think people appreciate that, because I don't complicate things. I don't make it seem like more complicated than it really is. I don't like to complicate anything, as you noticed. Most of these things that I talk about is, you know, people overcomplicate these things. They overthink it. Sometimes you do need to overthink things, but sometimes you don't. It just all depends on what you're doing. So when it comes to me sharing mechanical information, I'm thinking like, look, if you got the proper tools and willingness to do it, and you watch a repair video or two how to do it, you're gonna get a pretty good idea what, you know, if you'll be able to do it or not, because you're seeing what they're doing. And if you're looking at them, you're like, well, I could do that, you know, you could do it then. But some people are just not willing or able to do it, or may not have the right tools, or they don't have a property to work on their cars or whatever, and they just want to find a trusted type of place that will take care of them without upselling them on stuff that they don't need. But people literally came to me and they said, look, do everything that you think needs to be done. Like I said, listen, I'm only going to do stuff that really needs done, and I'll point out the stuff that could be done later, you know. So I always try to be fair, and I don't try to like rip anybody off, but I'm set on my price. I do charge $150 diagnostics fee, which covers 1 hour of my time, and I do a nice thorough diagnostics. If more times required, we could talk about that, but I charge $100 per labor hour to work on a vehicle, which ultimately it's a lot more than $100 per hour. But then I'm very reasonable on some of those services that I do, and I give customers discounts. I sometimes include things for free. You know, there's certain ways that I do things that people end up coming back, because I appreciate people and I respect everybody, you know. But ultimately, technically, I do not really need any clients, because the way I always looked at it is be your own client. This is why I've been buying many cars. I have the ability to fix all my own cars, sell all my own cars, and just cut out basically having the need for people to come to me so I could service the vehicle, just because I have already thought of that, and I sort of like recession-proofed myself, because I just bought everything I need and things like that. Most shops that open up, they don't know where their customers going to be coming from. They don't have much money or whatever, and they're struggling. So they're trying to upcharge customers on every little thing just so they can recoup some of the money that they're paying every single month because of all the overhead. But even when I get the shop, this is not going to be a lot of overhead. I could easily pay for everything. This is not going to be a big deal at all. But it is a big deal if I do get it. Like, that is going to be very good for me, because ultimately that would be kind of like a money printing press for me. I'll be able to make so much money there, it's not even funny. And because I could do service for people. I can do that. I could do service for myself. I could sell cars from there, like a used car lot, like buy here, pay here type of deal. I can also do car wholesaling, which I could fix up cars and take them back to the auction, sell them for more money. I could basically rent out cars and also sell used car parts on eBay and other places, and so much more. You know, there's really so much that goes into it. And also I could open up like a sort of like a quick type of service, like oil changes, brakes and whatnot, like for any kind of car, just to keep the ball rolling. And that's why you look at him, you're like, oh, you're working all this and that, get a regular job. No, guys, I have a better plan. I'm not trying to go and get some job. Like, I don't need a job. So it doesn't really matter what I'm making right now, as long as I'm making a lot of it, a lot of money. So what I'm gonna do is I'll be able to show to the finance guys, look, here's what I'm making. Look, this is how stable it was. Here's the tax returns from last year. Here's the year before last. Here's what the income was like just this year alone, because we're already going to be into March. And they could look at the consistency of it, and they're going to say, you know what, you do have a lot of income coming in. I have a lot more income coming in than most people. Most people, they try to work 40-hour a week, some 32-hour weeks. I will outwork pretty much anybody. I'm just like working as hard as possible. And I live 1 hour away from Charlotte, and I still am able to get that done. Imagine if I lived in Charlotte trying to do that. But then again, I'm not trying to make a career out of Uber. And looking in the future, which is not important right now, I will be upgrading my car to a more luxury car or an SUV so that I can make more money doing Uber. But anyways, guys, that's all I'm going to say for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.